Hello everyone and welcome back to the Godzilla Battle Line video, and today I am joined by Rick the Squirrel, and we are going to be going over all of the buffs to the units and leaders that have joined the game as of the, I don't know what number season it is, but the season for February 2025 of Godzilla Battle Line. So Rick, say hello.
Hello.
There it is. There, I was worried for a second that you were gone. There you are. So, we are going to talk about all of the buffs presented by Toho on their website, and then Rick has done, as he normally does, a nice write-up on the percentage changes of the characters, and then we'll just talk about, what we think about them like we normally do. So, Rick, if you are ready, we can start with the first one. Oh, also I forgot to mention, we're not going to really talk about Shin Godzilla in this video. Yes, he did receive changes, but I have an entire video dedicated to the Shin Godzilla changes that I will link somewhere in the video. You can go and watch that if you want to learn more about him. We're going to spend time talking about everyone else. So the first one on the list is King Ghidorah, the Ride version. He got a counterattack damage has been dramatically increased, and range damage on deployment has been increased. Attack animations have been adjusted, and he is rentable this season.
So, that range damage on deployment, which was my favorite part of his unit other than the jump scare, it was increased by 41.5%. So, I think if you have a decent level on him, it's possible you can destroy an energy base with it. You can take out a very weakened group of units with it. I really love that. I love that we have a Ghidorah that can just fly and shoot his gravity beams and just a little sweep. I love that. And the counterattack damage was increased by 80%. I think that's
That's a lot.
The dramatic increase we've ever seen for something like this, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I feel like every time we do one of these videos, we say this has been the greatest increase of stats that we've ever seen, and it's happened 4 months in a row. Just about every one character every month gets a huge boost, and King Ghidorah, this guy's definitely one of the characters that got a huge increase. I mean, 80% increase to the counterattack damage is crazy. I mean, I'm looking at the stats that you sent. I presume this is your King Ghidorah
Yeah.
that you sent me at level 4. Your King Ghidorah's counter attack damage was 292 before the update, and then after the update at level 4, it is 526. That is crazy. Even on a level 4 character, that is a crazy spike up in damage. I mean, I don't even know what mine was prior, but mine at rank 16 rented is 852. I mean, that's a lot.
I'm pretty sure it does that when they attack you, so it immediately hits them back. Like I think it's confirmed that he destroys Godzilla 2021 because of this whole
In a 1v1.
increase. Mm-hmm.
It says immediately performs a counterattack on being attacked by a unit it is targeting within its own attack reach. Does not counterattack when attacked by a leader special move.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun now. I'd say he's in the S tier, personally.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I was using him the entirety of the first week of this season. I've only recently taken him off my team because I am using the 1991 Godzilla just because he's flavor of the month. But this is a guy that when I'm done getting my jollies off with Godzilla 1991, I'm putting this guy back on my team. I mean, he is a menace now. He's on straight demon time. Sniping the energy bases is fantastic. Even sniping the air bases, I've seen a lot less Gamera leads now because of Shin Godzilla leader, and I'd have to assume also this guy, with his ability getting stronger, he can now snipe those bases.
He's a vertical. His spawning is a vertical train bomb. Yeah. I would have just been fine if he was just an effect piece like the anime Ghidorah, and he just does a queen swipe vertically. But we also get this. I love that we have a Ghidorah that does the wing walk. So
you get the cool wing walk with him, but also he's basically an effect piece like trains with a body attached to it. That's something in I play a lot of Magic. I've mentioned on the channel a lot. And a lot of the times you'll be like, oh, here's this spell and it's, it deletes a character. It's, it costs 4 and it, targets and destroys an enemy creature and then it goes away. But then, usually the better version of it is like, oh, it's the same cost, destroys a creature, and it's like, a 2/2 that you have in the field. So now you also have like a defending creature or an attacking creature. This to me is a lot like that. It's not as strong as Trains, but it's a very similar effect, and you get a body on the board, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot. I think I would put him in the S tier as well. I think he's especially powerful this season. Next.
I think I had like something if I used it by... I thought I did like a percentage thing when he's at max level with all the cards he has, but I can't find it. But basically, if you have all the battle memories maxed for him, it's like 40% attack increase. That is even more insane. And plus 14%. So if you put
like all the cards that would like the best cards for him, I see right here, King Ghidorah the Ride, 40% attack increase and a 14% HP increase. Is what you have on King Ghidorah for if you use the proper King Ghidorah themed cards with him.
Like this guy will hit like a truck if you have those cards. So very solid. He went from C tier to S tier for me. So
yeah,
sorry
I agree.
That. Let's go to another one that's really surprising.
Yeah, Godzilla 1999. Godzilla 1999 got increased attack reach, extended search range, and damage will now be registered earlier. And I think the best thing that they did for him is damage is registered earlier, because now he's able to really pop off those flames. The Moth Duo, he eats them up. Gigan Miles, he eats them up now with these flames. The flames alone, if they just added that, would have been a perfect way to juice him up, but then they give him a bunch of stat increases as well. I've seen a few level 30s running around the arena this season, and, part of my brain is like, oh man, these guys are just whatever. I'm not gonna sweat over it, but I think it's like, I think Charlie Slayer or Godzilla's March uses like a level 31s of these, and man, they hit hard. God forbid they kill one of your guys. I mean, it's just game over.
Especially it's 2.4 attack speed. It's not that bad if they keep
really
hitting
good.
you.
It's really good.
And with that new Valentine card, which gives you HP and attack, oh boy.
Yep, I have the new Valentine's Day card. It's the only card that I have on my game right now that I'm showing, so that people can see like on this Godzilla and the other guy, like what the boost is. And on this guy, dude, it is a 589 boost to his HP, and then for his attack it's 154. So he's hitting for his attack is hitting for over 1,000 damage.
So
with this card, just with this card, no other card on top of that.
His base stats were increased this season by 10.4%, which is a pretty okay increase, but it is a good because it's kind of like its own battle memory increase card, like a whole 10%. So that's pretty good. But the search range and the search reach is just 60 to 65, and that's
having
fine.
An increased range is good too. I mean, a lot of times in this game, we'll see a character that gets increased reach or increased range, and then all of a sudden they like shoot to the top of, maybe not the meta, but they definitely go up a tier or two because range is the best stat in the game. And if you get an increase to it, no matter how little, that's better. That's way better than you were before.
The reach isn't really the biggest deal breaker for this, because the big one is the range, not the damage on defeat. Like, once he hits you, you immediately take damage. It's no longer like delayed.
Yeah.
And he is the reason why swarms are now on Death Watch.
Yeah. Yep. The Gamera, I made a video last season, but like Gamera decks, they're one of the best decks in the game right now. This season has just been a nightmare for Gamera decks. I mean, if this guy kills one of the swarm, the whole thing is on fire. Say goodbye to your invincibilities with the burn that he's doing. The Ride Ghidorah is taking down the shields and will take down the base. The Shin Godzilla leaders taking down the shields and the base. Gamera leaders need some kind of win if they want to keep that strategy up, but I have not really seen a whole lot of that strategy this season. This guy's one of them.
I'm one of those people that uses like the Gamera whole thing. You have to plan accordingly now. You have to be more careful and strategically. You can't just throw all the random stuff out like you did last month, because that's basically what the whole Gamera thing was, and people just don't know what to do. You have to plan accordingly with, especially with Gauss, because Gauss is really good with Gamera. If Gamera wasn't there, they'd probably be in B tier, but they're in A tier. They were in S tier last season, but because of units like 1999, they went down. So you got to plan
Mm-hmm.
accordingly. Because if 1999 or Godzilla 2000, if he hits one of them, their shield goes down, and then he hits that thing again the second time, the
Yep.
thing will explode. Therefore, it does a little AoE, and all the other swarm units lose their shield. And then once he hits the second one, it's game over. He just needs 3 shots at you, with a 2.4 attack speed, and he can like destroy swarms.
And he's what? Stun immune too? Or not stun immune, he's slow
Slow immune.
immune? He's slow immune. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
especially also really good. There's not a whole lot of like slow things going on right now in the meta, but
Only
I mean
Super Mecha
that's a
Godzilla.
plus. Yes, I mean I've seen some Mothra 2019 barely, but I mean listen, slow resistance is good, stun resistance is way better, but I'll take, if this guy's popping off a huge AoE, he basically is cutting up that a meta deck almost by himself, and he's slow resist, so
If
even better.
if you put him with someone like the new Godzilla 91 or Ghidorah or even Gamera, because they have AoEs
Hmm.
and stuff, piercing, they can hook up a whole thing with their AoEs. Like 2 of them, like they would start like cooking. They'll start cooking the whole thing.
No, I,
Like
I like the changes to him a lot. Mine is level 15, rented at 21. I'm still not using him. I feel like this could be a good one to try out. I might make a video about him because I see a lot of people using him to pretty high effect. So I'm gonna check him out too. I like him a lot. I am
mhm.
going to say though a character that I think gets the least love for me this season though is Dorats, because Dorat's also got a boost. For those of you who don't know,
It doesn't matter.
yeah, they got an increase to their attack, an increase to their movement speed. Cool. They had what did you write here? 18.4% movement speed, and their
It was attack, my
or
bad.
attack is 18.4, and then their movement speed increased from 16 to 20. Uh, that makes them pretty fast. But I mean, for all the reasons we're saying the swarms are out of the meta. I mean, listen, for when the swarm, not like swarm meta, but the Gamera low cost swarm deck is still like kind of relevant. And last season, the season before, was extremely meta. The Dorats weren't really making the cut at
Yeah,
it
Doras aren't
still.
like a good choice. You'd rather have Gauss, because if you invest in Gauss, you're going to get a lot of them, and they just are better than the Dorats,
Yeah,
and of course Airbase.
yeah,
So
yep.
Dorats, it doesn't even, their increase doesn't matter this season, and I highly doubt it's going to matter in the future, because they have, for mine, they're level 30 and they're 556 HP.
Yeah.
You, I think anyone with any sort of like level on a 4-star, like, you know normal unit is just going to one shot them. It's like over. We have a lot of AoE. Like it's a waste of 2 cost, especially
Yep.
because we don't have the whole meta with the, like, they're it's still sort of meta with Gamera. Like you can still like cook with him.
They are
It's just
better
not.
with Gamera, but there are better options to pair with Gamera than the Dorats, and I don't think
And
that
that's
these adjustments are putting them on the team.
you're not guaranteed this season, because we just talked about Godzilla 2000, and there's
And
like a
Godzilla
lot of other.
1991 as well can go through the
Mhm.
invincibility, so it just doesn't even matter. He's going to one shot all three of these guys at the same time with his piercing.
You're just wasting. It's just like Gauss 67. You're just wasting energy.
Yep. Yep. I am in complete agreement with you. Another
Hmm.
character with adjustments that I think is better, but still really not viable almost in any capacity is King Caesar, who got
I
increased
disagree.
attack, increased movement speed, and its time to enter assault mode has been reduced. I still do not think he's very good. I've seen a level 41, and I've let it hit my leader, and I've seen it hit my other guys, and I'm still like, it's not really.
If you happen to have cards that also affect 2 stars, and in certain of attack, or if you
Uh-huh.
put him with Biolante leader on like the new -1 map and have that 300% movement speed in water, he is going to charge like the Flash all the way towards your leader, and you better be prepared. Like he is pretty insane, especially because him going to assault mode went from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, so it's way faster.
Mm-hmm.
And his attack increase went for 22.8%, so that's good. And the movement speed went from 14 to 16, so he's faster. He does more damage. He can get into that assault mode faster. And if you're like planning really well, like on water maps, he is a force to be reckoned with if you're busy using your units on one side.
I think
So
he's. I
I
don't
think
know.
he's
I
beat,
I
especially
don't
on.
even know if I would put him in B tier. I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
don't
We'll
know.
look
I might be
at
biased. I run Gigan 2004 in my deck still because he's great. He stops Rios, he stops G21s, he stops pretty much anything that isn't stun immune, redirects them. I think he's a great plug and play tool. I mean, I think he's fantastic, right? And he just shuts King Caesar down immediately.
Yeah.
And King Caesar's not beating Gigan 2004 in a 1v1. It's just not
Yeah.
happening.
No.
But that's my bias because I use Gigan religiously. I have for months, and I see King Caesar, and I'm like, cool, that you basically have a unit that does nothing. But if you don't run a character with stun, because chibis are also out, so a majority of players aren't really running stuns anymore.
if
So
you're
that could
if you're doing
be
a good rush deck, or like manipulating people into psychologically
going
putting
on
them
one
on one
side.
side, and then do that, like he will work. I'm just saying that in the right situation on water maps, he's very viable because I've seen it happen. I've seen Jamboration, he used him and he's really good. I've seen a lot of like top players use him. He's really good.
I can get behind that if you find like a good outlet for him and you can send him super fast, Fire Rodan him, or not Fire Rodan, what is it? Rodan 2019, or I guess you could Fire Rodan him too, the Bilatte ability or whatever. You probably get a lot of use out of him, like a guided missile, but if
Yeah.
someone's got stun or someone's got some kind of small blocker on the field, I don't know if not a lot of people are running the Kamakuris trio anymore, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of units that stop him in his track, like dead stop him, make him totally useless, but not a whole lot are seeing play. So I think he's in an interesting spot where like he could be good if you play him right, or he's absolutely useless if your opponent is equipped to deal with it.
That's why I think like he was in C tier last month for me, maybe even low C tier, but I think
Mm-hmm.
he's at low B tier if you are on water maps. So
Okay. Okay. I think we could probably compromise high C, low B.
okay,
Now,
this one's pretty quick
this
because
this is this is a quick one, but I think this is a better change than King Caesar. Is Anguirus went from 4 cost to 3.
mm-hmm.
Now he gets the Gamma boot, the Gamma invulnerabilities, which is phenomenal. Even though we've just spent a lot of the video talking about how the Gamma decks are kind of on their way out.
They're not
They're not on their way out, but it's a lot more difficult to use them than in previous seasons.
you're not like guaranteed like you were
Yeah,
last.
because you would
And
just steamroll beforehand. Now
mhm.
it takes a
But
little bit
the
more effort.
thing is that it works for Anguirus because he isn't going to be instantly one shot like
Yeah.
swarms.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It's
he is a tank, and he's now 3 costs instead of 4, so
exactly.
you can have him block stuff. He
He
can take out.
gives that deck a body that it sorely, desperately needed because that deck was primarily like Gamera
Mhm.
was the main body. You had the airbase, a bunch of swarms and stuff, and they would pick something like Ghidorah or Fukuoka Godzilla or -1 or something, some other character that has no synergy with the team just to have an extra body out, have some extra damage. Now you have a body with a ton of health that also gets that invincibility. This is a good piece. This is almost exactly what
Mhm.
the Gamma decks were missing, in my opinion.
And Shinden, he won't get compelled by Shinden, and
Yep.
air flyers will just like turn around because he's just continuing moving forward, and it gives you some opportunity to pick off at those Desgadors and stuff
Yep.
while they're focused on Anguirus.
I will
And
say, Continue your thought before I give my
I was
interjection.
just going to say that the 2 stars are the biggest outside the 4 stars. 2 stars are just like a huge meta now. They're really good now. It's very surprising, but I'm here for it.
There's also a lot of cards that benefit 2 stars. A lot of the
Yep.
times when we look at the cards, we're like, and they help 1 stars, whatever, and they help 2 stars, whatever, and they help 3 stars, whatever. There's a lot of really good cards that also affect 2 stars, so you can juice it and Anguirus up as well
Like, let
with the
me tell
cards.
you what you can do if you
Mm-hmm.
like focused everything on him. For attack, you can have him do 55% attack increase, but I like the one that does. You can focus on doing 52% HP increase.
Yeah, that's good too. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's
50% on him would be crazy.
mm-hmm. I think I've had screenshots, but I know you're not probably going to use that. So
Oh, I have a. If you send me a screenshot, I could show it, but
I guess you can post it post production.
I mean, I could just show it to the screen in the middle
Yeah,
of this. I could just do it live if you send it to me.
that's gonna take. Maybe we'll just do a jump cut.
Ah, it doesn't matter. Either way, he's getting a big boost. And I would say that this season is kind of, I would say with this change, he would be the best silver unit now, but Varrot is extremely good, and he's extremely popular, and he's rentable. Although
It
Varrot
really
does not
depends.
get the Gamera boost.
Yeah, it really just depends on what you want to do between Anguirus and Varen. They're like
Yep.
interchangeable.
And Gearus is 1 cost less, big ass body, and then Varen can be just deploy anywhere, and he puts the attack down. And I mean, I really like Varen. I think he's super great. He's come in clutch so many times. And then I think Anguirus is also exactly what the Gamera decks needed. I see in card games all the time. There's a deck that is like a really good concept that competes at the highest tier, but it feels like something's missing. And it's just sure as shit, like 2 sets later, there's some kind of card that comes out that just benefits it like crazy. And then all of a sudden, this deck comes back. And, the Gamera decks haven't left the meta, but Anguirus was definitely a piece of that puzzle that they were missing. They were missing a big body that they could also shield indefinitely. Here he is.
Yep, yep.
Like that a lot. And then, I guess I'm. Oh no, I'm not at Godzilla 2004 yet. Godzilla 2004 gonna change this season? Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I
he
don't
did.
have. I can't like show like the maximum because one of the max big ones is the new blue King Ghidorah card, and
Uh huh.
unfortunately, I don't have that maxed out. So I'll just try my best with what I can show you as a screenshot, but it's pretty huge. So.
That is all right. We are now on to the next. So now we're on the leaders because I believe that was all of the
Yeah, there's 5
units,
units and
and then
5
there's
leaders.
5 leaders. So the first leader we'll talk about because we're skipping Shin Godzilla in the order in the patch notes. Shin Godzilla's first. Again, I have an entire video talking about Shin Godzilla. Godzilla the Ride version also got an update to his leader abilities and everything, or stats and everything. So he got increased HP. It lowered the special move cost. It reduced his special move cooldown time, and the target and magnitude of his special move effect has been adjusted. Your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts?
This is really good. I know the screenshots show that it's 65 reach, but it's glitch. It's supposed to be 75. But he had a 17.5% increase in HP, so that's really good. His leader ability went from 4 to 3 cost, and I'll talk about that in a second. His cooldown of the ability went from 120 seconds to
To
90
90.
seconds. And all allied units that are 4 cost or more have it went from a critical damage increase from 200% to 250%. Anywhere on the battlefield, if you have a unit that costs 4 or more, if you give them that leader ability, their next attack with the critical will do 250% of their basic attack. Unless you're using the cards and stuff that increases it, then have that times 250%.
Wild. Wild.
Especially on like huge ones. I think this is similar to Godzilla 89, where his is 2 cost and you get like the damage increase, but that lasts like 30 seconds. Here, just like one
The one shot.
time and like you're done. I feel like it should be 2 cost, but I feel like they probably think, oh, that'd be too OP, but you can always make it 2 cost
Yeah.
with the Planet Eater card, but
I
say
think
Love V.
I think that if it was 2, if you made it, used your other cards to make it 2 cost and faster, it would be phenomenal. I still don't think that this makes him a regular use, like, all around good leader, only really because there's
He's like
too
King
much.
Caesar.
Yeah.
He's like King Caesar, like what I talked about. In the right situation, if you plan accordingly, he can do a lot of damage and catch you
Yeah.
off guard.
Like you
It
can
just
use him and Godzilla to one shot people. Like it's
how's
crazy if
Battra?
you have the cards Battra and Ginza, because this will stack with whatever other attack
Mhm.
boosts are on a card. So you charge up Ginza, you have all your cards, to give Ginza whatever amount of extra damage, and then you prop Battra on and you pop this ability. You could one shot an enemy leader, but if they have Rambo Mothra,
This is why I
it's
say
over. It doesn't even work.
this is why I say Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday will help.
Yep, I see a lot of people put a 2 cost that Freezing Sunday in their deck because it can get rid of the Rainbow Mothra shields or the Gamma shields, and then this ability can pop off and do whatever. So that's a good strategy as well. I think that this is a good leader. I do not think he's a great leader, only because his ability gets shut down at like an invincibility if you're not careful about getting rid of those. But like Shin Godzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, Des Ghidorah, what's his
Yeah.
name? Even King Ghidorah 2019, great leader, but the a well timed invincibility can mess him up too, and that's a big thing. That's a big problem with him. That's why I like Shin more, because Shin has the burning and it gets around some of that. But
Yeah.
this guy, I like him. I think that the buffs to him were great. I've seen him a lot more in the ranked arena. I don't think he cracks the top 5 leaders.
Yeah, but I would say he's better as a leader than he is as a unit, personally.
Yeah. I would say at this point, he's probably now better as a leader than a unit. If you have him at a high level and you want to use him, he's rentable this season. Go for it. I think he's pretty solid. I think that there's just a bunch of ways to work around his abilities, so keep that in mind.
I sent the screenshot about Anguirus. Like that's a lot of HP that I have there for him.
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Level 33 Anguirus at 4,465 HP, 971 damage. That's crazy. That's big.
Mhm.
For 3 costs. That's
Yeah.
really strong.
Yeah, that's like 4 cards I have focusing on his HP. So
Okay, so that is. Oh, I see. Yeah, the bonus to his HP was 2,801. So you're essentially making this guy a 7,000 something HP.
Yep.
Anguirus.
hmm
Crazy.
because we're getting so many cards, eventually, because oh, I don't want to do that if it's just going to be for one character. But eventually, the more cards we get and the more units you have and you focus on them, eventually the 2 stars or the 1 star with those other characters that you have in those cards will eventually align much
Yep.
better.
Yep.
So
The more cards that are out that say like also affects 1 stars, also affects 2 stars, it's just gonna keep getting better and better for them. They eat. They're eating. They're eating.
yeah, sorry about that. Let's
No,
get
you're
to
good.
the next leader.
The next one would be Godzilla 2004. And Godzilla 2004 got increases HP significantly, increased attack, increased close range attack power, and then the duration, target, and magnitude of special move effects has been adjusted. Your thoughts?
So let me break it down. His HP has increased by 33.9%. That is really huge. I like that. His attack is now 67.5 increase in. Yeah, that's huge because mine is level 21 and was let's see. It was originally 533. Now it was 893. That's really huge, especially
Yeah.
because his reach is 80. So
Yeah, the reach is really good. I mean, we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this in many other videos. Most leaders, their default range as a leader is 70, and there's a lot of characters these days that get around a 70 range. Having him be at 80 is really good because he's going to be able to hit some of those more long-range characters that normally might get around you.
hmm the duration when he's using his leader ability went from 15 seconds to 20 seconds, and the movement increase from the ability went from 50% to 100%. So basically, you times the speed of which your units are moving by 2. So
Yeah.
if it's like 10 speed, it'll be 20 speed. So, and the cost of units that it applies to decrease from 5 cost and more to 4 cost and more. So we don't
I
really
like the
have. I don't think we really need speed a lot, but it can be very helpful, especially with like,
Mhm.
uh, if you don't have Rodan 19 that high, it could work with your anime Mecha Godzilla. I would say that all things considered, because his leader ability is also a pushback, I think this is, especially with the health increase and like the range for him with his attack. I think this is just you'd rather just have this over Godzilla 2003, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
if you happen to have this one at like some decent level over others, he's fine because he has a lot of health and he can hit people at 80 reach with good damage. But he's just not the best to be used right now. I still think like the ability
I like him on
itself,
the field a lot, especially with the Valentine's Day card. I think he's fantastic.
yeah. So I'd say he's good, but just not great.
Yeah, I can get behind that in terms of leaders. I think leader wise, Godzilla the Ride is better. I think Godzilla the Ride, you're gonna get a lot more mileage for your team out of
Mhm.
him than this guy. Um, but if you know what, if you have the right strategy for Final Wars Godzilla, I still think you can get a lot out of him.
I,
I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's as good as Godzilla the Ride.
but he has a good defense if you just
Yeah,
happen to be focusing on other things with him.
also true. Also very true. Another leader that I think is also pretty good on defense that got changes is Jaguar. Jaguar has been a character that some people in the community. Oh my god, some people in the community have been trying to make work as a leader for a really, really long time. And this season, he got a few adjustments: increase HP
Mhm.
significantly, increases his attack, reduce the special move cooldown time, and the duration of special move has been adjusted. I like him a lot. I've had a few enemies come at me with him this season, and they've genuinely caught me by surprise. What are your thoughts on the Jet Jaguar changes?
My Jet Jaguar is level 26, so his HP increase it was significant with 33.9%. That is huge. Mine was originally 10,042 HP. Now it's 13,447. So he is also a very beefy guy. And he has the fastest attack speed of any of the leaders with 1.7 seconds.
Yep,
And because of his attack increase, which was 55.4% increase, he's
crazy.
going to have the highest DPS of any if they're like engaged. Because I know like
Yeah,
some are like, oh, they have like more range. But if they were like just like fighting for a long period of time with some unit, he's going to have the most damage because of that. Because he's just going to keep going, going, going. Because,
as he hits for AOE as well,
mm-hmm.
which is
And
good.
mine went from 462 damage to 718 damage. It may not be the biggest, but with that attack speed, it's going to add up, and it's really good.
Yeah,
Now
I mean, if
for
he's hitting multiple units, I mean, I said the AOE, but if he's hitting multiple units, that's whatever X DPS, DPS times however many units. So you're getting a lot more out of him than you would for most leaders.
you're so compared to like Final Wars, you're sacrificing a little bit of range for that DPS and AOE. So
Yeah,
you pick and choose with
yeah,
that.
because he's got the 70 range, 70 search.
I think he might be better than Final Wars, but his leader ability, they don't talk about it in here. Like it's not nothing really. So what it does is it's 2 costs. For
Yep.
mine, it does 1,639 damage in a circle and increases the movement speed of allied units with range 60 or more on the battlefield by 50% for
Four
15
seconds.
seconds.
Four
So
seconds.
that was
40 seconds,
that was
sorry.
yes, because they went from 15
15
seconds
to
to
40.
40 seconds. That's a much longer duration, so that is good. And the
That's
cooldown went from
crazy.
120 seconds to 80 seconds. So
what's that, 40 seconds taken off, and then
Mhm.
they added 25 seconds to the cooldown,
Mhm. So
or to the ability, not cooldown, to the ability duration. I mean,
it's
that's
kind of
that's
hard. It's kind of hard for me to like praise it because I always like look at Biolante with a 300%
yeah.
increase with the 20% damage increase for just one cost, and it's 60 seconds cooldown. So like it's hard for me, but this is really good because there's a lot of units that are meta that have 60 range or more.
Yeah.
That is really
Yeah.
that is this will for 50% like speed. li- Like I said before, there isn't like a speed meta, but you can make this work if you
Yeah.
wanted to, and it'll last a long time for 40 seconds. 40 seconds compared to like 15 or like 30 seconds is really really good if you really want to like help out your teammates to get them on the other side faster because it can help a lot during overtime as well.
This is one of the leaders that I just completely overlooked, and it wasn't until someone ran me over with them I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "What just happened?" And it was on one of the water maps or something, or London, and they just popped this and went crazy. I did not expect like all of these characters in my face so fast. So I think he's good. I
Hmm.
think Bylante still is better,
Hmm.
but I think if you have a high powered Jaguar, I mean, he's going to be pretty solid no matter what.
He'll be fun for you to use if you have him at high levels and you're just
Yeah.
like wanting to like defend yourself a lot.
Yeah.
So
I like him a lot. One of the original characters added to the game after launch. Finally getting some love. I still don't think he is the best, but he's way better than he was before.
yeah.
The final leader that we need to talk about is Battra. Battra got increased to HP significantly, and then the duration and magnitude of special move effects has been adjusted.
So there hasn't been a lot for him, but his
Yeah.
HP increase was 33.9% like the last two. That is significant. That is really good for him.
Yep. Your
So he's like
Battra
what?
at 23 went from
Hmm.
9,461 health to 12,670. Crazy.
Yeah.
Big increase.
Yeah. So he's if he was like at the bottom tier for like the tier list, he's at least jumping up one tier just because of that. He's not the worst leader in the game.
He's way more health now than some of the other leaders that have yet to be adjusted.
Godzilla 2021.
Yeah, that actually might be the worst leader in the game now, for real.
Hmm. Yeah, because at least you're getting like some, HP with him, with
Yep.
Battra. And the leader ability to increase speed for because basically his leader ability is for mine is like he does 436 times 3 damage in a straight line, so that's like 1300 damage in a straight line from with
Yeah.
out of like 3 hits, and then increases the movement speed because you can snipe the leader or anything, almost anything on the battlefield with it.
Yeah.
Increases the movement speed of allied aerial units on the battlefield by 100% for 20 seconds. So we already did two others that did speed increase.
Yeah.
Uh, the last one was 50%, the other one was 100%. But out of those two, 100% for Final Wars had a longer time, I believe. What was it? Like uh actually they're the same time. They're both 20 seconds.
And Jet
Both.
Jaguars was better than better than both of these guys. Jet Jaguars
Mhm.
was 40 seconds with the what is it, a 50% for 40
Yeah.
seconds?
Yeah.
And then Jet
Well,
Jaguars though was any unit with range
60
60
or
or
more.
higher. Batra's only for flyers.
Yeah, and Final Wars is that you can have it for 4 cost or more, and there's a lot more variety with Final Wars using that speed than Battra's because it's
Yeah.
only flying for
The
him.
Batra really pigeonholes you. There's a few leaders that have stipulations like only flying or only ground, and normally when you get pigeonholed into something like that, unless you're in a meta where it's like very flyer heavy or very ground heavy, it's just kind of like us,
If
whatever.
they lower the cooldown to like 60 seconds, I think it would be fine. But I also think
Hmm.
it'd be like, oh, that would just be like you just keep sniping them. It is one cost, so that at least that's something compared to like Final Wars, whose cost is 3. So
I could see like if you're using the card that boosts all the flyers, and then you're using like the Mothra card that boosts all the Mothra characters, and then you're running like Aqua, or not even Aqua, but like Rainbow and the Moth duo and the original Battra and Mothra, and like I like an all Moth team with this as the leader. I feel like could be pretty good if you have enough cards that boost the moths and also maybe lowers the cooldown. You could have something there.
but it
But
isn't really a huge advantage that they're
yeah.
thinking of. Like the thing that's going for him is just the HP increase, which others on this list have as well and more.
Yeah.
So
Like
he's at least better than a lot of the bottom tier now, but he still needs some work around with his leader ability.
yeah. I mean, I still think out of all the leaders we looked at today, Godzilla Ride is the best of this group, but Shin Godzilla, who we didn't talk about, there's a video on the channel talking about him, is the best overall. He's one of the best leader changes we've seen in a long time, and not even a long time since King Ghidorah 2019. It's probably Shin Godzilla's change is just unreal. But Battra, I still think needs a lot of work for him to be meta, because I think there's characters that do what he does better. Same with Final Wars Godzilla. I think is like all right. I think out of the 3 movement speed leaders that got increases, Jet Jaguar is the best. And then out of all of the leaders in general today, Godzilla Ride was the best.
People were complaining about Monster Zero. Hey, can you nerf Monster Zero leader? Like he's so OP, and Toa's like, oh, I know. Let's make Shin OP now.
Yeah, let's
now
make Shin
everyone's
Godzilla
running
OP and everyone
2
can use it.
giant paint bubbles.
Yeah, it's insane. This update though brought a lot of, I think, good changes to the overall meta. I think that Anguirus getting a cost decrease, fantastic change. I've seen him a lot more. King Ghidorah the Ride getting its increases, fantastic change. Seen him a lot more. Godzilla 1999, not seeing him as much, but the ones that I do are kicking my ass, so I think that's a good change there. I think the rest of the changes for the units, King Caesar and Dorats, are a bit of a dud in each other. And then Shin Godzilla, stocks way high, meta all the way, and then Ride Godzilla, pretty good secondary option. I've seen a few of them that have given me a run for my money.
I'm really hoping that they continue to do this for all the other leaders as well, because I'm liking this. What they're
Yeah,
doing.
I like that every season we're getting like 4 or 5 leaders, get like some kind of major adjustment to make them at least a little bit more viable. I like this a lot.
Makes me hope that at some point, like they're bringing back the Shin Japan Heroes Universe like units, because I feel like
Yeah.
that might be around the corner.
I hope as well. I hope as well.
Because I would love to run Ultraman, because he has like the best victory pose out of all of them. He just just nods and then flies up.
Yeah, I love him. I love Ultraman. I love the Shin Japanese Heroes units, and I hope that they come back soon.
You hear that, Toho? Unless I need to like put it in a mailbox or something.
That's right. But I think that's all the time we have today, sir. So, I think my game just lagged. That was weird. I think that's all the time we got today. So, Rick, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me in the trees. One of those branches might be YouTube. Another one might be dying. It's probably Twitter. Another one might be my letterbox, where I have stinky takes on stinky movies. So you can all follow me there, and I will hopefully see you all in the next video talking about buffs.
Yep. We will bring Rick back for one of those. But, you guys, that's all I got for you today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.